everyone. In my today's session, I am going to deal with the topic that is classification of semiconductors. In the previous session, we have already discussed some of the general properties of semiconductors. So next is the classification. So here classification is done on the basis of the position of the elements which are constituting the semiconductor according to the periodic table. So when we consider this type of classification, we can broadly classify the semiconductors into two types. One is elemental semiconductors and another one is compound semiconductors. So first, that is group 4 semiconductors. These are nothing but the elemental semiconductors. The second group is group 3, group 5 semiconductors. Next is group 2, group 6 semiconductors. Next is the group 4, group 6 semiconductors. And these three classes, which constitute of two different elements from different groups of the periodic table, constitute compound semiconductors. So here the classification is mainly done on the positioning of the elements which are constituting the semiconductor. So let us study one by one. So first is group 4 semiconductors. So group 4 semiconductors, from the name itself we can understand that the semiconductor is made up of the element which is coming under group 4 of the periodic table. So it is made up of only one element belonging to the group 4 of the periodic table, and that's why it is named as elemental semiconductor. Some of the examples are silicon, germanium, alpha tin, or also known as graphene. So these are the well-known examples of semiconductors coming under group 4 of the periodic table. Next, the structure. So these semiconductors crystallize in diamond structure. Diamond structure, we know it is having a FCC lattice, but the base is composed of same two atoms. FCC, we know, if you take any example like let us say NaCl, it is having two different basis atoms. But when you consider the diamond structure, the two atoms which are constituting the bases are same. So here the group 4 semiconductors crystallize in diamond structures. Then the type of bonding. So these are the covalent crystals, which means the atoms are bounded covalently. So covalent bonds are formed by sharing of electrons. We know all these things. Again, they undergo sp3 hybridization and the bond is homopolar. So if you take the example of silicon, its atomic number is 14 and its electronic configuration can be written as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2. The valence electrons are totally 4 in number, that is outermost electrons, that is 3s2 and 3p2. So totally 4 valence electrons are there, and in order to become stable, that is to get the octet configuration, it requires 4 more electrons in it. That's why what happens, the silicon bonds covalently with 4 other electrons of other silicon atom, and by doing such thing every silicon will get 8 electrons. So by sharing of the electron, octet structure or octet configuration is satisfied. So finally it is going to be a stable structure. But the main point you have to remember is the two shared electrons will be having opposite spins. So here we can consider one silicon atom which is having 4 valence electrons, and it requires again extra 4. Then it is going to share one electron from other silicon atoms, and finally octet structure is obtained. So that's why in such a way, here I have shown just a single silicon atom which is getting the octet structure, but it is going to be throughout the semiconductor. So this is about group 4 semiconductors, where we have studied how it is made up of, some of the example, its structure, how it is formed, that is based on the type of bond. Again, based on the type of bond, its hybridization and nature of the bond, taking the example of silicon. So let us move on to the next group, that is group 3, group 5, compound semiconductors. So from the name again we can understand the semiconductor is made up of two different elements. One is belonging to the group 3 of the periodic table, and another element is from group 5 of the periodic table. Group 3 means column number 13 in the periodic table, which contains the elements like boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium, etc. Again, group 5 means it is belonging to the column number 15 of the periodic table, which consists of which are mainly nitrogen group, where you get phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, etc. So here again examples, we can observe gallium arsenide. So one element is from group 3, another one is from group 5. Similarly, indium antimony, gallium phosphide, indium arsenic, etc. So these are some of the examples which are belonging to this second class of semiconductors. Again, its structure. It is going to crystallize in zinc blende structure, that is ZNS. What is the difference? Again here the lattice is made up of FCC structure itself, but the basis consists of two different atoms. One is belonging to the group 3 and another one is belonging to group 5. Next, the binding. Again here the binding is primarily covalent but not 100% covalent, because if you take the example of gallium arsenide, so what is happening here? Gallium, it is having 3 valence electrons. That is, gallium is having the atomic number as 31. So the valence electrons will be 3 in number. So it is acting as a trivalent. And if you take arsenic, it is a pentavalent. That is, the outermost electron number is equals to 5. So in order to become octet, gallium needs 5 more electrons. So it is going to take some of the electrons or share the electrons from arsenic atom and finally becomes stable. But each atom is surrounded by 4 other arsenic of another kind. That is, arsenic is different from gallium. Both are not same as in the case of silicon. That's why we say that the binding is primarily covalent, as there is no equal number of electrons which are involved in the sharing. Here 3 electrons are contributed by gallium and 5 electrons are by arsenic. So there is not equal contribution like in silicon, 4 plus 4. Here it is 3 plus 5. That's why we say it is primarily covalent. Again, bond is heteropolar. Why? Because of the nature of the bond itself. So the distribution of electrons along the bond is not going to become symmetric, and it will be displaced towards one of the atom which is going to be more electronegative, and that's why there will be net electric charge developed on the atom. That's why the bond is heteropolar in nature. So here the distribution of electrons in the bond will be displaced towards more electronegative atom. That's why there will be net negative charge or positive charge which will be developed. That's why again some sort of ionic nature will be there. That's why binding is primarily covalent, not 100% covalent. So there is some contribution from ionic nature itself. So bond is a mixture of ionic as well as covalent components, but covalent nature is dominating. So just for more information, in gallium arsenide if you take, arsenic is more electronegative than gallium. That's why arsenic acquires net negative charge which is of the order minus 0.46 electron per atom, and gallium acquires net positive charge of plus 0.46 electron per atom. So the general value is equals to plus or minus 0.48 electron per atom in this class of semiconductors. So this is about the second class of semiconductors. So next let us move on to the next group, that is group 2, group 6 compound semiconductors. So again similar thing here, these semiconductors are formed by the combination of elements from group 2 and another one is from group 6 of the periodic table. Some of the examples are cadmium sulfide, zinc sulfide, cadmium selenium, cadmium telluride, zinc oxide, etc. So one is belonging to group 2. Group 2 is nothing but column number 12, and another element is belonging to group 6, that is nothing but column number 16 in the periodic table. Again the structure, it is going to be same, that is it is going to crystallize in ZNS, that is zinc blende structure. Again bonding, here bonding is mainly ionic because of the number of valence electrons. So group 2 means there will be 2 valence electrons. Again group 6 means 6 valence electrons. So in order to form an octet structure, the bonds are formed in such a way that 2 electrons from group 2 element is taken and 6 electrons from group 6 of the element, group 6 of the periodic table is involved in formation of the bond. So here there is no equal contribution again. That's why here ionic character is going to dominate. So bonding is mainly ionic. Because of the ionic nature, polarity is going to be formed, that is charges are going to form plus and minus. That's why here polar character is stronger. So this is about the third group of semiconductors. Now the last group is group 4, group 6 compound semiconductors. Again here it is going to consist of the elements belonging to group 4 and another element will be belonging to group 6 of the periodic table. Group 4 means column number 14 and group 6 is column number 16. Again here they are going to form the important group of lead salts. So whatever members of this group are there which shows the semiconducting property, they are mainly made up of lead. That's why they form an important group of lead salts. And these are going to generally crystallize in NaCl structure. NaCl again, it is a FCC. Some of the examples which are showing the semiconducting properties are lead telluride, lead sulfide, lead selenium, etc. So these are the main groups in which the whole semiconductor is classified based on the position of the element which is involved in the formation of the semiconductor according to the periodic table. Thank you.